Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Leslie. Today I would like to talk to you about simple things that you can declutter today. So these are just easy things to knock out of the way. If you're doing the 30-day declutter challenge, this is a great way to add items to those high number days. The first thing is not an item but more of a tip. Do not start with things that are hard for you to decide on. So things like sentimental clutter, things that you're on the fence about. That's my cat Pixel. Just things that are hard for you to declutter. You want to start with easy things, things that barely even take a thought. You can just throw into your donate box, your trash, or whatever it is. So the first official item, easiest one in my opinion, is expired items. Expired beauty products, expired food, spices, anything that's just in your cabinets that's expired, lotions, and just things you've had for a long time. Just double check the expiration date on those. And some beauty products that don't necessarily have an expiration date, things like fragrance things like perfumes or body sprays, they might smell a little different now. Sometimes if you've had them too long, they'll start to smell more like just alcohol or just have an odd scent. So double check those things as well. Even though they're not officially expired, they're definitely past their prime. That's the kind of stuff that you want to look for first. The next thing is going to be mismatched containers and lids. So things where it's like a Tupperware container, some kind of plastic container that doesn't have a lid, or the other way where it's lids that fit a certain container, but you don't have the container anymore. That's an easy one to just get rid of some kitchen clutter. Another thing to look at is duplicate items. So things that you have more than one of, stuff like hairbrushes, kitchen gadgets, just beauty tools in general is a big one. Accessories, certain types of clothes, like maybe you have multiple winter coats. Do you really need all of them? That kind of thing. Sneakers, certain types of shoes. Do you need 5 pairs of sandals? I mean, any of these items where you have duplicates, just ask if you really need all of them. Another pretty easy one to knock out of the way is going to be broken items. So things that don't work anymore, that can't be used, that are literally broken, like chipped plates, chipped mugs, anything that's just not in the condition that you'd want it to be able to use it. One that was a big one for me was free samples. I used to be such a big collector of free samples, but I found that I never or rarely actually use them. I would have them sitting around for that one special moment where I thought it would be perfect to use a free sample, and they just sat there forever and I just never used them, and they would eventually either go bad or whatever. I'd have to throw them away. So if you have free samples just sitting around, just get rid of them, or just use them all in one day and get them all out of the way. Either way, get them out of your house. The next one is clothes that don't fit you or that you don't like. So I know clothes can be kind of a tough one, but if there are clothes you have where every time you look at it, you're like, I don't want to wear that, and you just don't like it, it's time to get rid of it. And if there are things that don't fit you, just get rid of them. The one thing that makes this kind of hard is if you are someone whose weight fluctuates, or if you're prone to bloating, which I have IBS, so I'm so prone to bloating. So I do kind of have my bloated pants and my regular pants, but they both fit me pretty well no matter what. So I guess it's something, if it's really far out of your size, like it's, 1 to 2 sizes too big, 1 to 2 sizes too small, just go ahead and get rid of it. Some of those things can really make you feel bad about yourself if you've gained a little weight, or even sometimes if you've lost weight, like maybe you didn't intend to. So having clothes that don't fit you can really mess with your mental health. So it's best to just get those out of the way. You can donate them, sell them, list them on ThredUp, eBay, whatever you want to do. Another one related to clothing that's pretty easy is going to be worn out clothes. So especially things like socks with holes in them, underwear that just doesn't have its elasticity. Even t-shirts or things with holes in them that aren't intended to have holes in them. If you have ripped jeans, whatever. But things that aren't intended to have holes in them, you want to get rid of that kind of thing. Maybe something's faded or kind of changed color in the wash, or something is otherwise wrong with it. Just go ahead and get rid of it. I already kind of touched on this one, but in particular, duplicate accessories is a big one. I just wanted to reiterate that because I know for me, Winter accessories was a big one. I had so many pairs of gloves and a ton of hats, scarves, when I don't even really wear scarves, to be honest. So I had a lot of winter accessories that I needed to go through. You could kind of go the other way with this. Maybe you have a lot of summer, like bathing suits or beach towels or that kind of thing that you need to downsize. Next one is old magazines or books. So magazines in particular, I mean, you can get so much of that stuff online. If you have a library card, you can use Libby, and they have a ton of magazines on there for free. So Libby is an amazing resource. But any kind of old stuff like that that you're not looking through, just go ahead and get rid of it. For old books, one of my favorite things to do is to go to those little libraries. Those things are amazing. You can actually check out their link and see if there are any near you. It's basically like a book mailbox where you can look at it, take whatever books you want, put books you want to donate in there. And you don't have to do both at the same time. Like sometimes I'll stop by just to drop books off. Sometimes I'll stop by one just to grab a book out of there. So it's just really just a nice give and take for books. Those things are amazing. The next one is old pet items. Maybe there are toys that aren't in good condition, old medications, old like grooming products, just things like that. A lot of times it's going to be stuff that's not in good shape. So just go ahead and get rid of that stuff. It's also possible that it's something that they just don't use. Like I know with cats, you'll buy them something and they just don't play with it sometimes. So unused pet items, you can always donate those. But any of that kind of thing, just go ahead and get rid of it. The next thing to declutter today is going to be cords, charging cables, that kind of thing. So if you have duplicates of these items, I mean, it's always nice to have, you know, a few extra, but maybe you have some that came with a device and they're really short or they don't charge very well. Just go ahead and get rid of those. Another thing to watch for is charging cables or other cords that you don't know what they go to, or you've gotten rid of what they go to. So maybe you have like a specialty item. Like I know like my watch obviously has a special charger. If I were to replace my watch, then I would have to get rid of the charger as well. Just any of that stuff, go ahead and just get it out of the way. One thing that's pretty easy is going to be junk mail. And along those same lines is just a lot of paper clutter. So things like old bills, old receipts, things that you just don't need anymore. If you do think you might need it, maybe for like tax reasons or just whatever, just take a picture of it or scan it into your computer or whatever you want to do just to have a record of it, but you don't need to keep the paper in a lot of these examples. I know for me, I went through and took pictures and scanned a lot of paper clutter before I got rid of it. This happened years ago, and I don't think I've ever looked back at the pictures, so you really don't need a lot of that stuff. Another paper clutter item to look out for is instruction manuals. So many of those manuals are online now that you just don't need to hang on to them. The next one, so these kind of have to do with paper clutter in a way, or office clutter, would be excess office supplies, notebooks, pens, Post-its, any of that stuff, and also calendars, old planners, old notebooks, any of that stuff that you're not using, especially if it's new and not in very good condition and you're just not going to use it, it's a good time to just go ahead and get rid of it. The next one is going to be seasonal decor that you don't use. I know I say decor kind of weird because I'm from the Midwest, but decor, I don't know, however you say it. Seasonal items in your house. That's one that you'll also want to go through, especially if there's things that you haven't put out in like a few years. I know that this year I went through some of my Christmas decorations because I found there were some that I just hadn't put out in years and I'm just not going to. So I went ahead and decluttered those. So you can definitely find some seasonal stuff to declutter. This is a good one too if you have just moved. So you can see what you put out one year, and then if there's a bunch left in the box, just get rid of the stuff that you're not putting out. Because having a new space, you tend to just pick different kind of decorations to put up. So this next one is one where I would not start personally, but it's old craft supplies. So crafting, those kind of hobbies, I'm a big hobby person. So any kind of crafts are a really tough one for me. So I know for me, since those are difficult items, I would not start there. But if you're someone who maybe dabbled in something and decided you didn't like it, then it might be a really easy decision for you to just get rid of those crafting items. So this is what I wanted to throw in just for people who aren't crazy like hobby people like me. Just go ahead and get rid of those crafts that you don't do anymore. And the last one on the list is actually not a physical item exactly, but old subscriptions and old memberships. So maybe there's a gym membership you don't use, you have a subscription to a streaming service you don't usually watch, a music service, whatever it happens to be. This could even be like subscriptions sent to you through mail. Like I know loot boxes were so big for a while. So anything like that that you're just not using, not taking advantage of, go ahead and get rid of that stuff. And that is it. That is the list of things you can declutter today. And it will hopefully give you some easy ideas of things you can start with. I know for me, it was really tough to get started. I was so motivated, but there's so many things I have that I'm on the fence about, where having a list of easy things, it helps build your momentum, because you can just toss those or donate whatever, and you see all the stuff that you're getting rid of, and it can really help keep you motivated to do more. So if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.